Okay, I'll call this April 20th Portland Commerce Advisory Board special meeting to order. Everybody please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please take the roll call?
Today's roll call. Hughes, I haven't heard from him, so I'm not sure. Jaffa, I believe, is excused. Lawrence?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Wilkers?
Here.
And PACAB?
Here.
And Hamdal is out, she's out sick today, so. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, we have citizen comments on any subject other than those items scheduled for public hearing. Those who have signed in will be given the first opportunity to speak. Time is limited to 3 minutes per speaker and 36 minutes total time for this agenda item. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed in to speak?
We do not have anyone signed in.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak?
Can I just...
Absolutely.
If I can get up.
Take me 3 minutes just to get to the podium. I apologize for that. I don't know how much business is going to be able to be conducted today considering the size of your group and the fact that the chair is supposed to be the person to act on this matter as far as appointing, and I can't see whether you have enough applicants to go forward as instructed by the council in this matter. But that being said, I did want to just for the record kind of correct something that was provided here in the background in the packet on this project. This project actually started conceptually in my mind back in 2014, and we began working on it. 2015 application was submitted to the Alaska Energy Authority. Before that, there was a test well drilled, and this whole design concept was tested and proven out by that test well sitting down here close to Ransom Pavilion. As it goes here, the project was always intended to be a four-building project, to include the library annex, this building, and the fire hall. When the project design was completed and the city was able to obtain a professional cost estimate from a company called HMS, the four-building project came in considerably over what the 2015 estimate was for doing the project, and came in, as stated here in your packet, at $3.6 million for the four-building project. It was then that the designer was requested to modify the design to just do a two-building project to include the library annex, and that was accomplished. The documents were amended, and the amended documents then went out to the estimator, and he re-estimated the project. And that estimate for the two buildings, the library and the library annex, which is in reality what the project is today, unless there's a money tree out there we don't know about. And that estimate came in at $1.4 million. So you can see what the difference is between the original grant amounts of $882,000 to the 2020 two-building estimate at $1.4 million. In reality, with COVID, with the inflation, the two-building project is really truly a $2 million project now. And so I just put that in your thinking there, that a two-building project, $2 million. If you want to do a four building, you're probably looking at close to $4.5 million. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else wishing to speak? Okay, seeing none. We need the approval of the agenda and the consent agenda. I need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any changes to the agenda? Madam Clerk, can we vote?
Voting on today's agenda and consent agenda, Wilkers,
Approve.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Smick,
Yes.
and PACAB.
Yes.
Your agenda and consent agenda are approved. Actually, there are no items on your consent agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, new business. So I have a little thing I'm going to say here. We have one item of business today, and that is to appoint an ad hoc committee to identify potential funding sources for the city's heat loop project. Before we begin, I want to get everyone on the same page as far as our procedures go. This information is from the public notice when the clerk solicited interest in the committee. On behalf of the City of Seward Council, the city clerk is soliciting interest from residents of Seward and the surrounding area to serve as volunteers on a 7-member ad hoc committee to identify funding sources for the city's heat loop project. City Council authorized PACAB to create a 7-member committee which will be charged with identifying potential funding sources for the heat loop project. The committee will provide their findings and recommendations to PACAB, then PACAB will bring a recommendation back to council. The committee is being created by and will report to PACAB. At the close of the application deadline, the city clerk had received 2 applications, Bruce Jaffa and Bob Linville. The following day, the city clerk received an application from Griffin Plush, and 2 days later received a 4th application from Jovante Weddington, which is furnished as a laydown because it didn't make the packet. If the board wishes to hear from applicants directly, we can try to call them, although we do have one applicant here in the audience. At least 2 of the applicants are not physically located in Seward, otherwise the letters of interest from each applicant are before you today. PACAB, that would be in the special meeting packet. PACAB will consider all applicants and appointments will be made by the chair, and because the chair is sick today and not able to join us, the appointments will be made by the vice chair, myself. The first item to address is, does anyone have any objection to considering all 4 letters of interest, even though 2 were received after the deadline? And I'm looking for feedback from the board.
I have no objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Okay. All right, wonderful. Now, would we like so the next question is, would we like the clerk to try and contact any of the applicants on the phone? And would we like to hear from the applicant that's in the audience? Or do we feel like we have enough information? And again, I'm looking for feedback. We have in our packet Bob Linville's letter of interest, and we have Griffin Plush's, and we have a email note from Bruce Jaffa. And we have the laydown from Jovante.
I feel like the information is sufficient. I think that if Bob would like to speak, I'd love to hear it, but if...
I just say, I don't know enough about the project, so I'd like to learn. I've known about it since it started. Now we're looking at financial details and all this stuff. I've worked with Bruce before, enjoyed that, worked with Bill before, so I don't have a whole lot of time on that. I'll work it in, best I can.
Okay. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to be considered that did not put an application in yet?
I'll go ahead and raise my hand if I can. I mean, I kind of set back because I wanted the community, as many. I did not want to be in the mix at first because I wanted to see what the interest was out there. obviously you're short your number, so I will raise my hand and ask to be considered at this point, but if you have other ideas, it's fine with me too.
All right. Let's see here.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to, from the board, thank all the volunteers we got for this project.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Okay, so we have before us 5 applicants. I guess the next question is, does anybody have any concerns about the 2 applicants that are technically not currently living in the general Seward area? Griffin Plush is I believe, born and raised here, but is in Juneau now, I believe, for work. And Jovante in his letter states that he's in Fairbanks, but it's for schooling. So the presumption would be that he still considers himself a resident of Seward. His family is still here, as is Griffin's. Any concerns at all?
I'm a little interested in how the committee would, the ad hoc committee would conduct business, if they would plan on just strictly using Zoom or that's the only concern I would have, is how would the meetings be conducted efficiently, and so that all the input could be included, but I'm sure they could work that out.
Fred, any thoughts?
I think it's, I don't have an issue with that. I think that in both of their statements to us, they have a connection to Seward, they want to help better Seward, and we have the technology to allow those meetings to happen, and I think both of them can bring something good to the ad hoc committee, so I think it's fine from my standpoint.
All right.
Can I have a comment?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should just give the committee an outline, a broad outline of what we want from the committee, and let the committee themselves set up the details.
Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, are we at the point now where I make the...
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I am going to go ahead then and appoint all 5 people that have raised their hand to be considered to this committee. So that would include Bob Linville, Bruce Jaffa, Griffin Plush, Javante Weddington, and Daryl Schaefermeyer. I'm going to arbitrarily, to start with, assign Bruce as the chairperson of the committee, since this is really sort of his baby. And then once you guys meet the first time, you can sort that out. You can change chair if you want, if somebody else wants to be chair. Let's see, committee members, I'll leave it to you to determine your chair after that, but initially it'll be Bruce to start for the first meeting. The committee meetings will have to comply with Alaska's Open Meetings Act, and so the committee will be required to inform the clerk in advance of any meetings that so she can properly notify the public. And what is the window of time for that? How much time do you need before a meeting?
As much as possible, but I think reasonable, maybe at least 2 or 3 days notice would be acceptable.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Also for the record, this committee technically will sunset December 31st this year unless extended by council. And that's a routine that happens. All committees sunset in December and then have to be reestablished. And there's not usually an issue with that. If the committee still has work to do and wants to keep working and it makes sense to council, then that's just kind of an automatic housekeeping thing that happens. So at this point, let's see. So we're done with the business, and now we're on to citizen comments. There's no sign-in for this. Are there any citizens in the audience wishing to speak at this time? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to board and administration comments and response to citizen comments. Does anybody on the dais have any comments? I'll just say that I appreciate everybody that has an interest in this and has applied, and I wish the committee the best of luck in finding the funding for this project. And at that point, I believe we will adjourn.
Adjourn at 12:16. And we're ready.
All right, so as Vice Chair, Acting Chair today, I'm going to call the Port and Commerce Advisory Board work session to order. We have 3 topics on our agenda today. The first one is the Smick Development Plan and Review. We've got notes and updates. We have some redlined things in the development plan, and we have some updated maps and boundaries. Matt, do you want to take it away?
I thought you guys were going to ask questions and I was going to answer them. I don't, should I just go by what the packet presents and then answer those?
Sure.
Okay, well, let me go through this first, the development plan and review, because it's rather easy and it's right up front and I can explain things to you guys. I just remain seated here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to address the parts that are where the owner is the harbor. And as we go through this first packet here, I believe, the things that the constructed north and south dock, approximately 315 feet, is built over there. It's completed. We'll go down to space number 13. As far as the uplands are concerned, fill and grade and storage area, correct elevation, continued improvement of drainage. We're constantly working on that, and the biggest concern, and this winter proved evident of it, is the drainage, but that travel lift needs very level ground in order to travel, and it's when the snow falls, it falls around the boats, and it doesn't fall under the boats, so the boats collect all the water. It's a big pool. So it's a constant challenge. We work on it all the time. It's one of our main things to keep things going, because it got really deep, really wet, and it was really rough on the equipment, on the personnel, and the area. So that's always ongoing. I'll move down to the next one that is ongoing, which will be land use and platting, which is on page 2. So we're trying to maintain an accurate map through the survey and plot amendments for the current and future leases. In the very back of your pamphlet, or your, this development plan, let me get these things here. So what I did here was I just made a very simple map with highlighted areas on it, which are some of the main improvements that we've made in the past few years, which are now starting to become assets and working, keeping us working busy anywhere.
Is this different from what you gave us for the packet?
Yeah, all I did was I got Selena to make something and I highlighted the yellow parts.
Okay.
The yellow parts are, on block 10, you'll see that is a fenced area over there by the North Dock at Smick now. That's 4.5 acres of secured property, which keeps a lot of the stuff that the barges and tugboats are bringing in or going out secured, and keeps us in a MARSAC rating in case, we're gonna have a lot of government business over there, and that is getting really busy. We've got we just got a new appointment, 4 different barge companies making appointments to offload and onload stuff, which is we're getting some pretty substantial money from a lot of that stuff, anywhere from gravel to equipment to building supplies. And part of that is that right below it is that yellow mark, that's our loading barge ramp there. That we fixed up a couple years ago and become highly desirable around the state. We've got a lot of companies coming up from up in the valley that are coming down bringing equipment to go out to some of these major cleanups out on the chain, so that barge ramp is paying off big time. And then the other 2 is the washdown pad and then the 330-ton travel lift. The washdown pad that put out there did because when we first got that washdown pad, people weren't very happy about it at all because we demanded that we clean the boats up and, be environmentally sound. And as it ends up, now these people are coming back just for the washdown pad. And I think Mr. Lawrence likes it a little bit there. It's a little slow sometimes because you get some big boats, but the boats get put away clean, dry, and they're much easier to work on, and it's much more environmentally sound, which in this Smick development plan is one of our things to do, is become as environmentally sound and clean and efficient over there as we can, and there's always room for improvement. So that's one of the main things that I wanted to highlight on this. And this is just a blank page. We do have a lot of properties over there, which is on another page in the back of your development plan, but we've gone quite fast in the past years, and planning and zoning hasn't really got an updated chart as to what has happened recently as far as getting the U.S. Coast Guard Fast Response Cruiser over there, Bornstein taking over for Polar Seafoods, and how they replatted that property. The ex-owner of Polar Seafoods got a chunk of property to put some of his stuff on. In the back of JAG, that's been replatted several different times for plans of growth through JAG or other companies going up there. And of course, a lot of lots over there on the Jellison, I think it is, where you have Alaska Logistics, you have Major Marine, and then Tugis. They've taken up a majority of that property over there. And then of course, Com North expanded to the north, and there's another spot over there that they are making working. Also, and Exit Marine is also another asset over there that's trying to expand its jobs over there. Those have just happened within the past 6 or 7 years, I would say, maybe 10 years. And I'm always bragging about, the boat yards sold out. Those yards are full of their own customers, and JAG is full. So that's what I have to say about this map here. If we go down to the next one, marketing, we're always marketing Nash Road, and there is a sign over there, but it looks like somebody ran over it in the snow or something like that. That has it's about the size of this, and has all the properties that need to be leased or are available to be leased. So that's part of the marketing. If we go down to transportation, again, there's more signage over there regarding parking and camping. A lot of people have been camping over there and using our parking lot as long-term parking, or they're parking their motorhomes over there, especially around that barge ramp. And they've seen a lot of areas be parked by long-term parking that weren't supposed to be there, and it's blocking up our access. So we're just doing more signage for that. Another ongoing one, if you go your way down to public utilities, the travel lift, we're trying to get more water and electrical systems over there. And of course, there's another part in here about the appraisals of that property over there. And the one thing that stays the same, and it's kind of hard to improve on is the fact that the property isn't getting the true value because we're not getting the water utilities over there, the sewer utilities, and a lot of people who want to lease it are going to, say, well, they got to add it to it, but they're leasing the property, so they're not owning that stuff that they're putting on there. So in order to enhance and market and raise the property values on our appraisal so we could get more value for the thing, I'm just suggesting that we put a little bit more effort into getting water and sewer to those places there where they can tap into it from the property that they want to lease, instead of making them pay for the whole show to get it over there, and then when the lease is up, they don't get it. So this just needs upgrades. Electrical has worked its way all the way down along Olga Road, all the way down to the south side of Jag. So we do have electrical utilities that the public has access to if and when they lease the property there. Environment and waste management. We're always harping on the people over there to keep their yards clean, keep a non-pollution area. And basically, what we do is we try to keep it the best, cleanest, environmentally sound yard that I've seen around. And there's, again, always room for improvement, but we constantly got to police the area. So that's one of those things that is part of the development. The rest of this goes on, is pretty much self-explanatory. We're just such as things as signs denoting the lease property over there. That's the one that I just mentioned yesterday. It's somebody smashed and we had to upgrade it. And so that is, I think, just a short rundown on what's on this information here. If you have any particular questions or anything like that, please don't hesitate to ask me. I got a pretty good line on what's going on over there. And as far as this development plan, this has been kicking around for years. I think, what was it, ADIS is the one that brought it up a few years ago, got things going in the right direction. If you guys have read through this, are there any questions you would like to ask me as far as the development plan? Because I could go on for hours on this and you guys would be...
One of the discussions we had a while back was about the restrooms and shower facilities over there. That's the top item on facilities and services. Is there any recent developments there?
No, we haven't gone in that direction yet. We do have an added permanent bathroom over there. We've gone with a couple rent-a-cans to keep the people going on over there. As far as shower facilities, it would be hard to put a shower facility over there when it's so far out of police realm, out of being policed. We'd have to contract somebody to clean that up on a daily basis, sometimes twice a day, because all those campers are coming over there. When the red salmon are in there, it's just bonkers. All you guys know, if you've been over there when the red salmon are there, just don't get in their way. You're going to get snagged. And they'll really in too. So showers, we'd like to do something like that, but we're kind of pushing the vendors, because we're surrounded now by several different companies that have put in boat yards, but they don't have any water or sewer, so they have to use our bathrooms. So it's kind of a strange thing over there. We've got all these businesses that are growing, but they come over and use our bathrooms and garbage facilities when they lease the property, which is why I'm trying to expound on the fact that we should get water and sewer to each lot that's over there. It should be purchased so they can have their own facilities and they can enhance the value of their property, enhance the value of the property that we would be taxing them for, and then making money off the electricity and the water and stuff like that. For us to put showers over there, I think would be enabling them to just stay on track with that. And of course, I could get in trouble for saying that, but I'm retiring in 9 days, so I'm just throwing it out there.
It seems like that would be an impediment to future growth, one way or another. It's an interesting challenge, for sure. But, Rent-A-Can's not a long-term solution, I don't think, for what we're trying to do over there, right?
No, it's not, but we have we're about 180 degrees surrounded by businesses that don't have their own bathrooms.
Yep.
So, it's something that needs to be addressed in a different way, and I don't think I would be the one to correctly answer that.
All right, thanks.
I guess, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for being pro getting the utilities over there, because as a business that has some property over there, I think it would benefit us hugely, as well as all the others. I think that more restrooms in the Smick yard, though, would certainly be beneficial. And having one there is great, and it's clean, and it's heated, and, 12 years ago, there was not much there, so there's certainly been improvement, and excuse me, I agree with you. I think showers creates a whole new issue that maybe needs to be tackled in the future, but there are a lot of, you're sold out, the yard is sold out. That means that there's a lot of people there that are using it.
Right.
So it's not just the surrounding businesses that are using the one toilet that's there, it's the surrounding businesses and everybody that's rented space from the city. So I think getting some more bathrooms would be good, but I think that it would be great to get water and sewer to those other lots. I mean, I can speak for our company and say that we would 100% put water and sewer, we would use it if it was there, without a doubt. And while I'm on the water subject, we have someone that's coming to our yard next week, and right now they're being told maybe the washdown pad will be open, maybe it won't. And I guess I'm just mostly curious on a grand scale, like what are the parameters for when it gets opened?
We basically have rounded off that May 1st is when we bring the water into the harbor and over to the Smick yard there. As you guys have realized, we've had a couple hard freezes this morning. So we've made several attempts before to open the water early and gotten burned by tens of thousands of dollars, because when it takes to fix the water, especially in an underwater application or something is broken in the harbor, got to have divers, got to have all that stuff. And over in the Smick yard, the water would be welcome too. It's also another thing, if it freezes, where does it break, how does it do? And in the boat yard, the washdown pad is something, and I'm familiar with Rick, I think it is, or Chris, they're going to be coming out on Tuesday, and they wanted to do the washdown pad, and we can't open it up, we can't sacrifice that system just yet, because we don't want to get burned again. And if the washdown pad, when it gets circulating, then we'll have it, but there's so much involved with heating that pad and getting the water over there earlier would be, it just exposes it, it's just,
I guess I just feel like the intent of it was that eventually it was going to be used year-round, right? Like you could...
Yeah, it is going to be used round. We just have to get the pad heated and get that up there. And we've had some different voices in that direction, pros and cons. I think it's a great idea to get it going.
Yeah, just as a user of any kind, the people that are hauling out right now want to wash the bottom of their boat.
Absolutely.
It's not the people that are in July or whatever. I mean, those are maybe, or whatever, June, those are maybe people that are going back in, but it just seems like it oftentimes, it happens to us, it happens to a lot of people where you're hauling out in the fall or the winter where it's closed, or the spring when it's closed. So I think financially, probably be good for the city, because it does cost the user money to wash down, and environmentally, because if they can't wash down in the wash-down pad, they are allowed to wash down in their eventual spot that they go to. Is that right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, we just make sure that the tarps are, are set up in the proper fashion, everything's ready, that we don't have a minimal runoff. This particular boat is going to be using that system there. We'll have water off the back of our building. It's a protected system that is set up that way, and they can pressure wash it in place. It makes things a bit difficult. It's that shoulder season, you don't know if it's going to be cold or if it's going to be warm. This was built in anticipation of having it running this time of year, and I hope someday that will come to fruition. It's just when you're having suppliers leaving town or people who can't really hook it up for you, it makes it very difficult.
Yeah, I heard you mention that when you build a bathroom shower or a bigger facility there, it might be some security issues of managing that. And I'm just wondering how often the police department is over there running security checks, and if they're not over there enough, it's possible to get them to go over there more often.
And that's up to the police department, and even if they do have it, and for a perfect example of what does happen, 2 weeks ago, our bathrooms at the harbor master's office got busted into, and they busted into the doors there that had access to all our offices, and a lot of valuable stuff in there, and that was right here in the harbor, so, and fortunately they caught one of the guys as he was escaping, but it's just one of those steps that there's a lot more to it than just putting in some showers and some coin machines. You have to put in token machines now because they're busting machines off. It's into tens of thousands of dollars just for the operating machines of coins and tokens to get the showers going. And we're constantly working on that here in the harbor. So it takes a little bit more attention when it's so far on the other side, and a lot of these people are coming from out of town, and like I said, when they're camping down there, sometimes they have nothing else better to do but go terrorize the bathrooms or showers and stuff. So we're just taking that with kid gloves right now.
Well, I don't know, I think that maybe the city should be a little more aggressive, because there's also theft and vandalism to some of the private stuff over there in vessels, and if we don't have enough police enforcement and security, and we're expanding, but we're not expanding the security, I think maybe some talk between the city manager and the police chief should try to address that a little bit, and maybe move some law enforcement from traffic over to security.
Very good question. And I just remember reading up on that the fire department has leased some more property over there, where the Avtech Marine Training Center is, and the fire department has their training center over there. I think, if I'm right, they are planning on putting in some more equipment, another fire department over there with an outlet, with the possibility for a police department office over there that they can work out of and check into and do stuff like that. So as we are growing and everything like that, the other bathroom, yeah, that's highly reasonable and possible. We're learning this stuff, and it's part of the future. It's just we got to get the wash down pad going, or our bathroom, our electricity in the yard, or more water. So and of course everything we do has to go through city council. So and we're perfectly willing to do it. They just got to find a way to do it, and that's part of the growth plan. And it would be silly to say it wasn't part of the growth plan, because Lord knows it's going on over there, and we need everything we can to help and enhance the value and the stay and the work atmosphere over there.
Is the harbor employees that are over there off and on, are they trying to keep an eye or be aware of people that actually
living over there or camping over there back in the boatyard areas or things like that, not the campground. I'm referring.
Oh, yeah, we don't let anybody, go in there and set up campers in between the boats and walk around on their own accord. No, basically our yard is for the boats, the owners of the boats and the maintainers of the boats, not for camping or anything like that. And you can ask Colby, I ride a pretty big horse over there as far as keeping people out of that yard that aren't supposed to be there.
No, that's a big job.
It keeps you busy.
Well, thank you.
You bet.
I have a couple of other questions from the table, but let me just ask my questions about this topic right here, more water, septic. Has the city, is the assumption that we would run city water all the way down Nash Road to there, or is there a way, have we considered putting in a well over there in that area to service?
There is a well.
There is a well.
There's a tank up behind the prison. It's up on the mountain.
And is that what feeds the prison?
It's what feeds the prison, it's what feeds JAG, it's what feeds the whole fire suppressant system.
Okay.
The water is not really an issue, it's just a matter of us, getting it into the roads,
The
to the
infrastructure.
properties.
Okay, so the well exists over there, so that it's not so much needing to bring it from here, it's just needing to put the infrastructure in for water.
Yes, and
Okay.
I do believe there is a map in here that shows the water in the well plant over there. Yes, it is. It's this one, the picture.
Okay,
And it has the blue and the green on it, and it shows you where the present sewer lines exist and where the present water lines exist. But if you notice around the surrounding areas, like where Olga is at, the water doesn't go up that far, and that's towards the back property where the motorcycles, Lions Motorcycle Club used to ride.
okay. And same thing with septic. I'm assuming that septic would tie into the lagoon that's there.
Yeah, and they have pump stations over there, that's what the green lines are.
Okay,
Those are the pump stations that can take it to that holding pond up there.
okay. So really, it's a matter of budgeting it? Is that,
Yeah, targeting that area, putting the budget in there, or, getting some kind of grants or whatever it takes to enhance that value, so it makes it more desirable to new leaseholders, and also brings the appraisals up so we could get a better tax base.
okay, so somehow, we need to get this on a high priority list, that we're bringing water and septic to the rest of those lease holders.
And it might be on a high priority list,
Okay.
I don't know, but
Okay.
it just seems obvious that if we enhance it, that place is going to improve a lot more.
Right. Well, we see what's happened with what we've done so far, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Has there ever been any discussion, or do we know what the monetary outlay would be for a bathroom attendant?
I don't think there's been any research on that. That's like asking to have a 24-hour employee over there.
Well, even if we were to, so when people are breaking into the harbor restrooms now, is that happening during the daytime, or is it really happening just at night?
Well, according to my office, I hear the bathroom door slamming all day long, and when you get a busload of kids in there, those are kids, they're just banging and clanging and doing stuff like that. But when we're gone after 5, and we have great cameras, it's usually in closer to midnight in the AM where the damage is done, and we try to catch it on the camera.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if admin might be interested in doing a cost analysis of damages and repairs versus a nighttime, just one shift, not 3 shifts a day, but one shift at night for a bathroom attendant. Because it seems like we're spending an awful lot of money on repairing things more than once, kind of,
Yeah, that is
an
something
ongoing
I
thing.
would definitely save for Mr. Regis.
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
I've been known to get him in trouble, so
all right, well,
I'm pulling back on that one.
I definitely would be interested. Go ahead.
Yeah, way back in the early 70s, the harbor wasn't under the city then, but
No.
they had a employee, his name was Dewey,
Dewey?
who had a
Doing
bunk
well?
bed in there, and he made security checks all night long. And if a boat was in trouble, 3, 4 in the morning, he'd be down there and help tie it up, or help it get pumped on, or whatever. So has the harbor ever considered having an employee, night person like that again?
I would have to turn that to Mr. Regis.
Right, a lot of harbors do, and then that really increases
Yeah.
the security.
Yes, I'm sure it does.
So,
And we're talking about needing two ultimately, one here, one over there.
or one that has a vehicle that can make rounds.
Right, right. Okay. Any other discussion about the water, sewer, septic? I have a couple of other,
Madam
go
Chair,
ahead.
one point about the infrastructure over there, I believe that it would be expensive, but a leaseholder could install those if they paid for it, is that correct?
Yeah,
So there is an option, if a big outfit wanted to get water and sewer, they could, right, so.
yeah, and there's been several leaseholders actually that have leased property over there, but they couldn't financially pull it when they wanted to because they had to redirect funds in different directions. But yeah, you can do it, you can pay for it,
So the primary benefit of the city doing it would be increase values and just make it more attractive, right?
yeah, that's the main thing is, if you're leasing property out to it and these people have to pay to get the utilities to it, it's a tough decision to make. You have to be very well off and not be somebody who's just starting a business.
Yeah,
Right.
thin margins there for sure, so.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. At the, let's see. So at the top of page 2 is the item, examine credit card method for calculating charges to users, and the notes and updates say, brought before council and rejected, but not exactly, December 2019. Mazzaro's will provide bank and credit card info to council. So no follow-up was provided to council. So where do things stand at this point? Do we need to re-examine the credit card method being used?
Well, that comes under owner, and that's the finance department.
Okay.
So as far as us in the harbor, we use credit cards for virtually every transaction.
Right.
As far as the charging them for that has to go through council in order for that to be improved.
So if it's most of the transactions, would you say it's kind of priced in already then? Would that be a fair?
No, I don't think, I couldn't answer that at all. We go with, our prices improve or increase every year with what is it, COI, CPI? Yeah, cost of living index or something like that. So that's what we keep up with. Everything has been financially managed from.
Okay, I just don't know whether we need to leave that on the list or not. And then at the top of page 3, continue to support Chamber of Commerce as the marketing arm of the city of Seward. And it says Marine Services list needs updating 2020. The Chamber brought together marine stakeholders. November 2021, Chamber expects to have the Marine Guide ready. So I do believe that the Marine Guide is out. So maybe that item needs updating in the spreadsheet here. And then
The
on,
Marine Guide, as far as businesses, like a little booklet of phone numbers and stuff like that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
have those in our office.
yeah. So I just wonder if we even need this on here anymore, this item. Moving down, under public safety, there's a whole bunch of ongoing, schedule a meeting in 2021 with the fire department, schedule 2020. Didn't we have that meeting with the fire department, Brenda? You remember?
Chief Kreitz came in.
Yeah.
That was a good discussion.
It was a good discussion. So I wonder, this needs to be updated, but I don't know what we want to, have in here. Or if we need to have another meeting with him again to see where we are now. I don't know. I guess those are all of the things I had from this grid anyway. Well, what would the harbor like from us at this point? In
Pardon?
terms, what would you guys like from PACAB in terms of moving forward now with this plan, this review?
There's what the harbor would like from PACAB is, just, I think, any suggestions that we can enhance things, that's what we want to do is every year is enhance something
Right.
a little bit more, one example I'd like to use is like the polar bear jump. Every year we would improve that a little bit more, carpet on the docks and permanent docks for those guys and benches to sit on and little things like that add on. I mean, like Tony's been all over LED lighting over there. I mean, and replacing it, and we got pictures of when every single light bulb was working on that, and that's what, so we are improving things, the electrical infrastructure. We actually have a gentleman from Transpac, as we speak, going down to E47 today to check out that finger that is skewed, possibly broken. So, we just, anything that can enhance, I mean, not daily phone calls saying that these weeds are out of control in the corner. It's just, we tried, we were happy to see weeds growing, because at one time the water was so dirty there wasn't anything growing in ours.
Right.
So now we're doing that. We just, any suggestions towards better things?
Well, I definitely think doing whatever we can to get the water and septic issue moving, so that gets taken care of, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just from the perspective of bringing the boat in and doing work here versus other ports, we lack a lumber yard, we lack a really good, broad, commercial marine store.
Yeah.
We gotta bring stuff over from home all the time, you gotta go to Anchorage and stuff out and keep the numbers. And this could actually be the difference between doing the job here, because it's just a nightmare. Even though we like everything else to do with sewer, we're doing, where all those things are just right there.
Right.
And so maybe, the city can, try to give somebody a deal on a huge lot over there to get some of this stuff. I mean, just do anything to try to bring it in, because you got enough boat going in now to call for it. I think it almost makes sense. 10 years ago, it didn't make sense. The lumberyard, my God, can't that make sense for the rest of us? The lumberyard in every town. It's something I don't know what the city can do, obviously, but if there was any large block of property that could be leased for such a thing, and there was
Some kind of incentive plan for them, or something.
Right.
It has to do with Smick, it's really important. He's doing a job and not have to go 100 miles to get your stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for that comment. Anybody else in the audience want to make a comment on any of this?
Can I just make a few remarks?
Sure.
Bob and I are going to leave you.
Sure.
Anyway, I want to stand there.
understand anyhow. What I'm hearing here today is good problems. I was thinking 45 years ago, 2 months ago, when I started to work for the city, one of the first projects I got assigned to work on is acquiring property over across the bay. There was no road in there. There was a variety of government land, a mishmash of borough stuff. And so one of my first jobs was to find property that would allow us to develop something over there. Things were just conceptual at that time. And I've lived long enough to be able to see these happy problems occur, where you've got enough demand, enough business, enough commerce over there. Finally lived long enough to see that you need water, you need sewer, you need restrooms, you need facilities, and these are good problems to have. Not problems like we had in 1977 where there was no business, high tax rates, no commerce, no nothing in this town at all, really. And here we are today. I always referred to the harbor here on this side of the bay as the goose that lays the golden egg, and it really truly has been, and still is. Now we have another goose that's starting to mature to lay some golden eggs across the bay. And so we need to, as a community, start thinking about putting harbor personnel over across the bay, perhaps putting security, and I'm not suggesting police because they're too damned expensive to do your security for you, but staffing security people if that's a problem, and looking at those kind of things. I'm sitting here feeling pretty happy today that we have these kind of discussions, the needs coming forth. He's been here long enough to know that things are better in every sense. I mean, I'm very proud of that boat harbor we have here. I'm proud of everything we have in this community. This is a dynamic community that's the envy of many in Alaska. So you need to keep that always in perspective. We have some great things here that we need to we have needs obviously, but we have positive things, and we're a good community. We always will be. I'm confident of that. And congratulations on your retirement here, Matt.
Thanks, Darryl.
Matt and I, long history in varying roles and varying things here, and we both survived, I guess, to this point. And I appreciate being allowed to make these comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darryl.
Thank you to you both.
I gotta take care of my dad, so I'll be gone for a while. Thanks for your input.
And I think most of you have heard, I'll be stepping in Matt's position when he steps away.
Congratulations.
Yes, don't know him, Tony Sminsky. And I think what I took away from this packet was maybe in the coming year, expanding on our electrical, maybe adding some pedestals over there, the water and sewer, and then of course the drainage is a big issue. And that was very evident this year, but it was a different year for ice buildup. To go from single digits to 40 degrees a couple times was hard on everybody. But those are the big things that I'm sort of thinking in the near future. Is there anything that you guys want to add to that list and of course the big one is the washdown pad. The bordering months are difficult because of the water. But that is on our list. We've had some contractor issues of getting them just to finish that off. But
So that is planned to be year-round?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do we have a guess as to when that?
2 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's honest.
Yeah.
We're right there, it's ready to go. It's just the follow-up after you make that phone call of someone else following through and showing up when they say they're going to show up. So we may just have to go out and bring someone else in.
Okay.
But, so
So the way that we can support you really is to encourage council to find funding for these things.
My understanding is we have the funding for that, and that was set aside. I believe we took that boiler in possession 3 years ago. It's,
So for the washdown pad, it's not funding?
I don't believe so. Would Matt speak on that? I don't.
We're having a difficult time because it's a massive manifold setup for the tubing inside the cement itself. It's a heated pad, and we also got a state-of-the-art used oil boiler system, so it's going to be, our environmental footprint, we're going to be totally fueled by used oil, which could also be heated by diesel too. But to get that hooked up, to get somebody down here with the skills and time, or just the wherewithal to come down here, get that manifold set up, and it might be a week-long project. I don't know. It's not something you just plug in your quick connects, although it looks like it is. We've been having a hard time getting the contractor down here. Plus the fact that we don't have a plumbing store anymore, like Bob was alluding to, we don't have a lumber store.
We're putting that on the list too, plumbing and lumber.
It's just, we're doing the best we can with the shoulder surgery, shoulder seasons. Very valid point. I hold you there, and we're doing the best we can to get it online. Because people are coming from around Prince William Sound to use our facility.
Right.
And that's the best thing about it. Like Darryl was saying, what a wonderful problem to have, but we need to solve some of it to make it better.
Right.
And that's what our goal is. We always try to enhance things.
Right.
And we use May 1st as our benchmark to turn the water on within the harbor. We'll probably start next week to do all the concrete, because we can do that in-house. And then for the rest of the systems, we're relying on the water department and then we just aid them on getting that going, so to speed up the process. This year, it's probably gonna be the first week of May, because they wanna do some training with some new hires also, so. But
And it's late to warm up this year.
it is, and like Matt said, he touched on it, we've been bitten, we get these warm 50-degree days, and we think, let's get it going, and it goes the other way.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot more work.
Okay, any other comments?
I don't know if we can add things to this list. So it came up in a couple different ways in conversation, though, about getting somebody over there to keep an eye on things during the night hours. And I think even if it's not necessarily a priority item now, I think it could be in the future. Either some sort of private security, harbor security, or just night watch person. But I think seems like that's something that should be on this list as a possibility.
I would agree.
If I could, on that bathroom over there, we have the porta can, I believe, just on the bordering months when the yard is full, take up excess use, but come the middle of summer, there's no activity when the boat yard is empty. So we just go down to the one bathroom. So kind of keep that in mind, if you want to put in bathrooms or shower houses also. I would be very hesitant. I think it's going to be very difficult to maintain with just the problems that we see on this side. But maybe, with the night watchman, maybe that is a partial solution. But
There's got to be
no
a way.
right answer to all of it.
Right.
There's a lot of.
There has to be a way to address it. And really, it's just money in the end. So, yeah. Now, Brenda has just come around
Sorry.
with a laydown.
It was kind of late getting that out.
What would you suggest? Should I read this aloud at this point, or? These are Bruce's comments in response to the Smick development plan. Oh no, so it's not, I guess he doesn't have, he didn't have really any input on the Smick development plan. The rest of it is items on the agenda not yet taken up.
Yeah, that's really just for your information.
Okay.
And
All
get,
right.
make it available to the public.
Okay, any other comments on the Smick development plan before we move on to the next item on the agenda? Colby?
Nope.
Ben?
Well, I would like to recognize Daryl and all the others that it is, I think, important to keep in mind how much work has been put into that facility. It's really impressive and shows what the community can do, so thank you to all those involved.
Yes, I agree. Thank you to everyone that's involved and working towards this project. Okay, so we'll move on then to the next item on the agenda is discuss modifying standard agenda to include correspondence. So we touched on this briefly at the last meeting, but I just wanted to see if there was some input maybe the clerk could give us on how that might work. I just am concerned that there are emails that we get that they may have come through you and then they get sent to everybody on PACAB, but then because they never really, we can't discuss them in email, and then they never kind of come up as a group in front of us because they don't show up in a packet as a laydown or as a laydown. And so some of those, unless one of us actually takes action on the letter, there's never really a way to, there's no mechanism to get us to discuss them or to acknowledge them.
So PACAB as a body addresses business that is on the agenda.
Right.
For your meetings. Items are included on the agenda because either administration brings them forward or commissioners bring
Right.
them forward to be put on the agenda. So correspondence is handled it's not an item of business. There is nothing to be done actionably about any piece of correspondence. So
Right.
it's not a business item. So correspondence is submitted often through the clerk's office and distributed to boards and commissions. And subsequently, if a commissioner was to believe that there was something to be had, a discussion or some actionable item as a result of that, you could then put that on the agenda. So outside of that, I'm not sure what you're trying to accomplish. You have every right to respond to anyone who's submitting correspondence directly. You can write back to that person and thank them for their correspondence and have any conversation you want to with them. You just can't take
Right,
it up
do it as a body.
with the body.
Right.
But you can, individually, you can communicate with your constituents anytime.
Okay.
So am I misunderstanding what you're trying to?
No, I've sat on other boards where correspondence was included in the agenda as a way to either just a discussion item or as just a way to make sure that everybody on the board saw the letter, if it was sent to, the entire body. So really, the onus is on individual commissioners to bring it to the level of putting it on the agenda if we want to discuss it. That's...
If it is an item that you feel rises to be on the agenda for the commission to consider in any respect, then yes, you have that ability to do that.
Anybody else have any comments about this?
Would it be possible to have administration identify citizen comments that are requesting, because a lot of them have been kind of, you can see their intent is that we discuss it. Could administration include that in their report, like a citizen?
As a body, PACAB can direct administration to,
Identify.
if that's something that you want to see, then as a group, you all need to decide that and give administration direction on that.
I would kind of like to see something like that. Otherwise, they just get...
It just falls through the cracks,
Yeah,
that's
it feels insincere.
how I'm feeling.
Like, we want to address it, but we can't, right? That's the problem.
Right.
Unless we act on it ahead of time. I guess the downside of something like that is if we ended up with a whole bunch of correspondence and some of it wasn't, it was just like FYIs, but the recent correspondence we've had, if you review it, it looks like their intent was that we did bring it forward, and if we fail to identify that or didn't act on it soon enough, that doesn't...
Right, and that's exactly that captures what I'm resonating with, right? Is that the citizens sent the letter with the intention that PACAB will discuss this thing that they've brought to our attention. And then I feel like because it never somehow, none of us individually say, we got to put it on the agenda, then the entire discussion doesn't happen.
Do you have a specific example by any chance that you're...
I think it's one of, actually, a couple of Carol's communications recently were like that. I think her intention was that it get discussed. And one of it did, because I put it on the agenda, but I think there were others that didn't.
Also with I think Daryl and some of the heat pump correspondence too didn't get discussed for that reason.
Right.
My opinion is I feel like that's a slippery slope, because if you start to add it to every agenda that we have, we're never going to get anything done if we get a lot of citizen comments. And fair enough, like that's what we're here for, is to help the citizens of Seward. But I think that if the citizen feels that this is something that they strongly want us to talk about, then when they send the email to the board, it should be maybe something more concrete as opposed to informational. It should say, or they should email you if you correspond with them and they say, I'd really like you to add this to the agenda, then make a point to do that. But I mean, I've got a lot of emails of correspondence from lots of citizens over the years that it would have, our packets are already, a quarter-inch thick. Last week it was almost an inch. Like, it's going to get lost in all the paper too. So I don't mind the way it is right now. I feel like if something seemed to me that it was evident that it needed to be talked about, then I think we could put it on the agenda and get it there. But that's where I'm at.
Maybe it's a more clear communication to citizens about what they should do if they want to have a discussion. Could we do something where if they say, please discuss, and administration include that? We don't have to have all correspondence on there.
Right.
I do understand where Board Member Lawrence is going from there. If we ended up with a bunch, it would be...
Right, I agree. Fred, you have any thoughts?
I was wondering, we get correspondences, laydowns, or get correspondence as part of our packets for the meeting. Do we have to discuss and go into those in details, or can we just look at them and see if something doesn't quite apply, or we don't want to get into that right now, next meeting, or can we pass those over? Just because we get correspondence, does that mean we have to spend time on it at that meeting?
Not necessarily either, yeah.
So we could go through and kind of sort it out.
I think...
I was just going to just remind the commission that you are appointed by city council to do council's business. You are not elected by the citizens, not to say that you need the input.
Right.
But keep the perspective of the work that you have to do. And there is a mechanism in place, there's a system in place to allow you to bring items forward for the agenda.
Right.
But there is not a catch-all system in place that will collect everything and make a determination whether it rises to the level of the agenda.
Okay.
If I may, as a short answer to this question, I think it might just fall on us that we seem to be more proactive on it.
That's what I think too.
Do you need us anymore? We've got a full schedule up to Harper right now.
I think you're fine. Yeah, you can go if you want.
All right, well, thanks for your time.
Thank
I
you.
hope I answered your questions.
I'd just like to say congratulations
Yeah.
on your retirement.
Yeah.
Tony, congratulations on your
Absolutely.
appointment. Yeah.
He's got a full plate, folks. I'm sure he'll do just fine. I'll think about it with the margarita.
Thank you, you both. Thank
See
you.
later.
All right, so I think in summary, what we're deciding here is that if any one of us gets communication from a citizen that we feel needs to come before the body for a discussion, it is on us to put it on the agenda or on us to ask the citizen to come and speak during the meeting.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's great.
Okay. All right, moving on. Okay, so discuss the employee retention research and plans for moving forward. Where are the people that are here, where are you in terms of wanting more input? I know, Brenda, how many more people did you have on the list
Quite a
currently?
few, quite a few. There were, 20 people on the list, and PACAB had decided to have like 1 to 2 speakers for each meeting, and looking at meetings and work sessions, we were never going to accomplish getting everybody in there in the time frame that was set out, which my understanding was by the end of March, PACAB wanted to have all the speakers come through so that action could potentially be taken in time for the summer season. And so there are a number of people who did not come to PACAB.
Have not yet, okay.
Right.
So I guess that's the question that we need to answer. What are our feelings about taking a break from presentations on that subject and picking it up in the fall? Or do we want to try and have some presentations at the next meeting? Do we want to, meeting and work session, do we want to schedule some special meetings during the summer to have presentations?
It might be topical when everything is, I know everybody's going to be super busy, but like right when the crunch happens to hear how is it going, right? Are we able to get employees in housing? I think a lot of that's going on right now. But wait until the fall, that could be a, how'd it work out sort of discussion this year. But one thing I would suggest there is if we try to get more, kind of direct our guest speakers on just to narrow it down to maybe some real hit list items, like what's your big issues attracting people and keeping them, and elaborate a little bit, because we are going to hear the same
Right.
things a lot.
Right.
I'm intentioning to hear housing or childcare, right? We know.
I think that with this email from Bruce, I think that one of the key things that we haven't had a presenter or whatever we call these people is someone, a builder, someone that can do the construction, whether it's someone from Spinelli Homes or Larry Harmon here in town, and I'm not choosing anybody outright, I'm just saying some names. Someone that can come talk to us about what the hang-ups are with the building process and the cost of lumber and the utilities and things like that. I think that that's a key for the housing part of it. The employee, I think we started this whole conversation with employee retention, and a part of that is housing. It's not the whole thing. I mean, it's a seasonal town, and employee retention kind of comes and goes with seasonality. But housing is a big issue, and I think that, we're talking about the city's okayed 40 lots over by the bike park, and who's gonna build that? I think that finding out from a builder some information, we got some good stuff from businesses in town, from the realtors in town, and now I need to get some information from somebody that knows how to build something. I don't even remember who all was on the list, because there was a lot of people on there, but I feel like to me, that's the next key step, is to understand what the problems are with building in Seward. We don't have a lumberyard, that's one.
Yeah.
Our Commissioner, Bruce Jeff, he's been a contractor and a builder for probably 50 years or longer, so he's really a good resource for that kind of information.
Yeah.
I think that Bruce kind of was trying to keep himself out of it.
I know he
He wanted
does.
so that he could maintain part of the conversation, I think.
Having Larry Harmon come, he was interested in coming, it was just a scheduling issue. He just wasn't available when we were meeting, so.
I know we're coming up on 2 more meetings,
May, yep,
and then we're
potentially.
hiatusing.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I do have to leave at 1:30.
Okay, so what does the board want to do? Do we want to try and have more presentations in the next, we've got 2 more meetings on the calendar. We haven't had the discussion yet about what we're going to do, if we're going to hiatus or what, but,
I think we should try to at least fit in one more speaker on, for each of these meetings.
okay.
There's a lot on the agenda, but keep the conversation going.
Well, let's jump, because I want to at least have Colby's input before he leaves.
I can try and reach out, I'll just say, I'm happy to reach out to, and try and get some builders lined up for the May sessions if you want. There's no objection to that. I'm happy to do that. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And what do we think in terms of, is 1 per meeting enough, or should we try and have 2? If they limit it to 10 minutes apiece?
Let's try to have 10 minutes apiece, I like that.
Okay.
Sounds fine.
That's fine.
Okay, so we could get through 4 more
See what I
people on the
I'll
list,
see what I can
potentially.
get.
Okay. Let's just jump on to the next subject, which is our schedule and our hiatus. I think that there's a little bit of interest, at least, I get the impression from admin that there's some interest in us not having a hiatus. And I know that historically, the board always has. It's done it for the 3+ years that I've been on. And I know that that's been the standard, because there are so many people on the board that are involved in harbor activities and tourism activities. Right now, it shows us not having any meetings at all in June, July, and August. And I wonder if, how people feel about carrying this project through the summer as opposed to taking a hard hiatus and not doing any work. We've got 2 things going on. We just seated this committee, this ad hoc committee, and my expectation is they're going to have potentially feedback for us during the summer sometime. So I'm wondering if we are willing to have maybe some short evening meetings where we can carry on the business of that committee, and then also potentially carry on this employee retention project of hearing from people, presentations. What are the board's thoughts?
Can we do this as work sessions instead of meetings?
It depends.
It actually would end up depending on what the subject was, whether we need to be able to come out and give action.
Right.
So There's always the potential of doing the special meeting and then going into committee of the whole, I suppose, so we could do it that way.
Yeah.
You're looking for a more flexible format?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just because, and, we still need a quorum for a work session though.
Yes, still have to have 4 people.
Might be tough in certain times of the summer to get everybody together.
Right, right. But you're open to it?
Yeah, not a full schedule maybe, but some schedule with enough notice that people can work it in.
Okay, and would your preference to be to stay at noon, or would you be okay with maybe a 5 or 5:30, 6 o'clock?
Yeah, probably some of us probably are getting more freed up by 6 in the summer.
Right, right. How about,
Yeah, I'd say if a special work session or meeting at 6 PM during the summer, I'd be willing to do it. Just throw it out there and see if we can
okay,
get a quorum.
Colby?
Unfortunately, would say that I'm exactly opposite of that for evenings.
It would be better for
I
you?
could probably make, and I just don't want to promise anything, but I could probably make most daytime meetings, but the evenings is when we get really, my business gets really busy in the
Okay.
evenings with boats returning.
Okay, understand. And Ben, what about you? During the summer, could you do noon if?
If I can do anything, it'd be any time, but I'm, it's hard to make promises there.
Right,
so,
right, I understand. Okay,
yeah, be flexible.
okay. So it looks like we're all flexible and willing. And maybe we'll have some more discussion on that at the next meeting. Okay, anything else? Do we want to look at this priority schedule for anything else? I wish Stephen was here because this is partially on our agenda because of his conversation with me. Because one of the things, for example, it looks like, is our April 6th meeting, Alaska Pollutant Discharge Elimination System was not on that agenda. So we're going to need to reschedule that to some later meeting. And and at this moment, we'll put at least 2 presentations on the May meeting, Madam Clerk?
I'll do my best.
Okay. What else do we want as a commission on that agenda for May?
We haven't had a utility report in a little while. Net metering state of things.
Okay, you want to hear from the electric department?
Yeah, if they're willing, yeah, if we could invite utility director there to give us an update on that. There was also the tree clearing projects. If you could give an update on
Right. I know they've been
And,
working hard on that.
Nash Road infrastructure. It's good to stay apprised of those things.
Okay. Okay, so, and we're all free to add things to this agenda as long as you get it to the clerk in time for the cutoff. So at this point, we'll have the 2 presentations and then a utility update on the May agenda. Okay, anything else in terms of agenda, in terms of the committees?
Nope.
Schedule? Okay. All right. Madam Clerk, anything from you? Okay. I think, seeing none, then we will go ahead and adjourn this work session at 1:30.